Gerald R. Ford, USS. What a place. It really feels like a place. You stand on that deck.
A warship just launched fighter jets using electromagnetic railgun technology. No steam, no explosions, just pure electromagnetic force accelerating 30-ton aircraft from zero to takeoff speed in 300 feet.
The aircraft carrier is a moving base. It is a moving city. So we have a mobile city, a mobile airstrip with all of the capabilities of any airfield, and it can be moved anywhere in the world.
The ship? USS Gerald R. Ford. A $13 billion machine that can do what full fleets couldn't. But here's the thing. The Navy nearly bankrupted itself to build it. Was it worth it? Or did America just bet its sea dominance on a single ship? Stay with me. This story decides who rules the oceans for the next 50 years. Let's go back, 2010. The U.S. Navy had a problem. Their aircraft carriers, the legendary Nimitz class, that had dominated the seas for 50 years, was old, outdated, and in need of an overhaul. Prove it in 21st century, there because of no need. The need for technology? The United States data needs something brand new in technology to help those aids. They were running on technology from the Nixon administration. Steam power. Now don't get me wrong, steam power isn't inherently bad. It powered the Industrial Revolution after all. But trying to run 21st century military operations on 1970 steam technology? That's like trying to run today's internet on a dial-up phone. The steam systems broke down constantly. They required armies of technicians just to keep running. Worse yet, they couldn't adapt to new aircraft designs. The Navy found itself in the precipitous position of trying to launch cutting-edge stealth fighters using the same basic technology that powered 19th century locomotives. Every time a steam catapult fired, it was like setting off a controlled explosion. The stress on both the aircraft and the ship was enormous. Something had to give. The question was, would the Navy play it safe with incremental improvements, or would they bet everything on a complete revolution? America's $13 billion moonshot. Psst, the Navy chose revolution. In a move that would make even Elon Musk proud, they decided to throw out 50 years of proven technology and start from absolute zero. The result? The USS Gerald R. Ford, a $13 billion bet on the future that makes every other aircraft carrier look like a museum piece. The criticism was immediate and brutal. $13 billion for one ship. Politicians called it wasteful. Critics called it risky. Some called it downright insane. They were all missing the point. The Ford wasn't just another aircraft carrier with better electronics bolted on. This was a fundamental reimagining of what naval power could be. Every major system was redesigned from the ground up. 23 brand new technologies, each one representing years of research and development, came together in a single platform. The crown jewel of all this innovation? Something called EMALS, the Electromagnetic Aircraft Launch System. Here's what makes this absolutely insane. EMALS works like a massive electromagnetic railgun, but instead of destroying targets, it catches and launches aircraft with computer precision which never been possible before. It can gently launch a lightweight drone without damaging its delicate components, then immediately switch to violently accelerating a fully loaded fighter jet, weighing 30 tons from 0 to 165 miles per hour in just 300 feet. All with the same system, adjusted in real time by artificial intelligence that calculates the perfect amount of force needed for each specific aircraft. Traditional steam catapults were binary, on or off, full power or no power. That's like having a light switch when you need a dimmer. EMALS has infinite variability, reducing stress on aircraft airframes and extending their service life significantly. This means America's fighter jets last longer, perform better, and can be launched in weather conditions that would ground other carriers. Think about what this means. While enemy carriers are sitting ducks waiting for perfect conditions, the Ford is launching sorties in rough seas. While other nations stress their aircraft to the breaking point with crude steam systems, America's jets are getting gentler treatment than a luxury car getting a premium wash. That's the kind of overwhelming advantage that makes a ship truly unstoppable. But EMALS is just one piece of a much larger upgrade. The Ford's advanced weapons elevators move ordnance from storage to the flight deck 3 times faster than previous systems. The ship generates 25% more electrical power while requiring 20% fewer crew members. Environmental systems recycle air and water with efficiency that would impress the most dedicated environmentalists. The floating city. Let's talk about scale because these numbers tell a story of absolute dominance. The Ford stretches 1,106 feet from bow to stern. That's not just impressive, it's strategic. If you stood it on its end, it would tower over the Empire State Building. But here's what really matters. This floating fortress can project American sovereignty anywhere within 1,000 miles of 75% of the world's coastline. When diplomacy fails, this 100,000-ton argument appears on the horizon. The flight deck covers 4.5 acres, bigger than 3 Manhattan city blocks. But think about what that really means. Those 4.5 acres are sovereign American territory that can teleport to any ocean on Earth. Imagine owning a military base that can relocate overnight to wherever you need it most. The 4,500-person crew operates in a floating city, complete with post offices, medical facilities capable of major surgery, television stations, and machine shops that can manufacture replacement parts for almost anything on board. But unlike any real city, this one can pack up and appear off China's coast, then relocate to the Persian Gulf, then show up in the Mediterranean, all while maintaining full operational capability. Here's where size becomes unstoppable advantage. Previous carriers wasted enormous internal space on steam generation, massive boilers, miles of piping, water storage tanks. Picture several city blocks worth of space dedicated just to making steam. The Ford eliminated all of that antiquated infrastructure. By switching to electromagnetic systems and advanced electric power distribution, the ship freed up the equivalent of multiple city blocks of internal volume. That reclaimed space became additional fuel storage, extending operational range by thousands of miles. More weapons magazines, multiplying firepower, better crew quarters that keep 4,500 people happy and effective during month-long deployments. This isn't just bigger, it's smarter, bigger. Every square foot serves multiple purposes that smaller ships simply cannot achieve. Leaving the world behind. Comparing this technological marvel to what everyone else is floating around with, the numbers aren't just impressive, they're embarrassing for the competition. The Ford generates 25% more electrical power than the Nimitz-class carriers while requiring 20% fewer crew members. In any other industry, that would be called a revolutionary productivity game. In military terms, it's the difference between merely impressive and absolutely dominant. EMALS can launch any aircraft in the current inventory and adapt the future designs that haven't even been imagined yet. Traditional steam catapults were locked into specific pressure ranges. Too little pressure, and the aircraft doesn't reach takeoff speed. Too much, and you risk structural damage. EMALS adjusts its power output for each individual launch. Gentle for drones. Maximum force for heavy strike fighters with infinite variability in between. But what about the competition? Let's start with Russia's Admiral Kuznetsov, which would be hilarious if it weren't so pathetic. This ship breaks down so frequently that it travels with its own tugboat. Seriously, their aircraft carrier requires a babysitter just to cross the ocean. It runs on diesel fuel, limiting its range and endurance. Worst of all, it doesn't even have catapults. Aircraft have to take off using a ski jump ramp, which severely limits the weight of weapons and fuel they can carry. Russia's Admiral Kuznetsov faces reliability issues so severe. While the Ford operates independently for months, Russia's sole carrier needs a maritime babysitter just to cross the ocean safely. China's Fujian represents a more serious attempt at carrier construction, but it's essentially a copy of 1980s Soviet technology with modern electronics grafted on top. Meanwhile, the Ford launches aircraft with computer-controlled precision that accounts for aircraft type, payload weight, weather conditions, and sea state in real time. When other carriers are forced to suspend operations due to rough weather, the Ford continues launching sorties as if it were operating in a calm harbor. The nuclear propulsion system provides virtually unlimited range and endurance. While conventional carriers need to refuel every few thousand miles, the Ford can advance for years without stopping. Its reactors will power the ship for 25 years before requiring replacement. And even then, the fuel replacement process takes place during scheduled maintenance periods. The Musk connection. Here's where the Elon Musk connection becomes impossible to ignore. Throughout his career, Musk has followed a consistent pattern. Identify an industry that's stuck using outdated technology, then completely reimagine what's possible using first principles thinking. Ford follows the exact same philosophical approach. Instead of making better steam systems, the Navy eliminated steam entirely. Instead of incremental improvements to existing designs, they created something fundamentally different. EMALS embodies pure Musk-style innovation. Traditional steam catapults are mechanical, crude, and limited. EMALS is precise, efficient, and infinitely adjustable. It's the difference between a steam engine and an electric motor. Similar end results achieved through completely different methods, with the newer technology offering vastly superior performance and reliability. But the Musk connection goes beyond philosophy into actual hardware. SpaceX's Starlink satellite constellation provides high-speed internet connectivity to the Ford's crew, and this isn't just a nice-to-have amenity. It's a game-changing capability. In February 2023, a Wi-Fi-enabled Starlink system was installed aboard USS Gerald R. Ford as part of the Navy's Sailor Edge Afloat and Ashore SEA-2 program, providing connection speeds of 30 to 50 megabits per second, expandable to 1 gigabit with additional antennas. This isn't just about sailor morale. It's also about real-time tactical coordination across global distances. Before Starlink, sailors deployed on carriers faced months of communication isolation. Phone calls home were expensive, poor quality, and limited to a few minutes. Email was sporadic and unreliable. Entertainment options were limited to whatever had been loaded onto the ship before departure. Starlink changed everything. Sailors aboard the Ford can now video chat with family in high definition, stream movies and TV shows, take online college courses, and maintain social media presence. During the 2024 Super Bowl, crew members watched the game live in high definition while deployed thousands of miles from home. Previous generations of sailors couldn't have imagined such connectivity. The psychological impact cannot be overstated. Deployment stress, historically exacerbated by communication isolation, becomes manageable when sailors can maintain continuous connection with loved ones. Parents can watch their children's first steps via video call. Spouses can preserve relationships that traditionally struggled during long deployments. Young sailors don't have to choose between military service and staying connected to their digital lives. Operationally, Starlink provides tactical advantages like no other. Real-time intelligence sharing enables coordination with shore commands and other naval units across vast distances. When threats emerge or missions change, response coordination happens at the speed of light, rather than traditional military communications that might take hours or days. The system also supports advanced training programs, allowing crew members to participate in simulative exercises with units around the world. Medical personnel can consult with specialists on shore during complex procedure. Engineers can access technical databases and coordinate with manufacturers when dealing with equipment problems. The new naval arms race. While America was perfecting the Ford, potential adversaries weren't sitting idle. China has launched more naval vessels in the past 5 years than the entire British Royal Navy currently operates. We're talking about destroyers, frigates, corvettes, and submarines rolling off production lines like smartphones from a factory. While China builds ships at unprecedented rates, quantity doesn't equal capability. The Ford operates globally, while most competitors are limited to regional operations. It's not about how many ships you have. It's about what those ships can actually do when they're 5,000 miles from home. But here's the crucial difference. China's naval expansion focuses on quantity over quality, and their ships are optimized for regional operations within about 1,000 miles of the Chinese coastline. They're building a navy designed to control the South China Sea, not project power globally. The Ford, by contrast, operates with equal effectiveness anywhere on Earth. Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Mediterranean Sea, it doesn't matter. This ship is designed for global operations with the same capabilities whether it's off the coast of California or in the Persian Gulf. Russia takes a different approach entirely. Unable to match American surface ship capabilities, they're focusing on submarines equipped with hypersonic missiles. These weapons travel at speeds exceeding Mach 5, making them extremely difficult to intercept. It's a classic asymmetric strategy. If you can't match your opponent's strengths, attack their weaknesses. But submarines, or all their stealth and striking power, have fundamental limitations. They're excellent for sneak attacks and strategic deterrence, but they can't control sea lanes or provide sustained presence. They can't launch fighter jets or coordinate complex operations involving multiple types of aircraft. The strategic mathematics are compelling. One Ford-class carrier battle group can project more sustained firepower than entire fleets of smaller vessels while maintaining global mobility that regional forces simply cannot match. Quality trumps quantity, especially when that quality represents generational technological advancement. The weapon systems aboard the Ford showcase how modern naval warfare has evolved far beyond the ship-versus-ship combat of previous eras. This is multi-domain warfare, requiring seamless coordination between air, surface, subsurface, space, and cyber operations. The carrier's defensive systems read like science fiction. Evolved Sea Sparrow missiles that can intercept incoming threats with precision that borders on the impossible. Close-in weapons systems that can track and destroy incoming missiles using radar-guided cannons firing thousands of rounds per minute. Electronic warfare suites capable of jamming enemy communications and fooling incoming missiles into missing their targets. But the real power projection comes from the air wing. up to 90 aircraft representing the most advanced military aviation technology on Earth, F-35C, Lightning, 2 stealth fighters that are virtually invisible to enemy radar while gathering intelligence through sensors that can detect threats hundreds of miles away. F/A-18E/F Super Hornets, capable of delivering precision strikes with various weapons packages depending on mission requirements. E-2D Advanced Hawkeye aircraft serve as airborne command centers, coordinating operations across entire regions while providing early warning of incoming threats. These aren't just radar planes, they're flying command posts that can manage complex multi-platform operations involving dozens of aircraft and surface ships. Hypersonic weapons that travel at speeds exceeding Mach 5 are being developed for carrier-based operations. Railguns that use electromagnetic force to launch projectiles at incredible velocities without requiring explosive warheads. These aren't distant possibilities. They're engineering realities being tested and refined. The Ford serves as the center of integrated battle groups, combining Aegis-equipped destroyers and cruisers, nuclear attack submarines, and various support vessels into unified force packages. They are just collections of ships. They are networked weapon systems that can coordinate defensive and offensive operations across hundreds of miles. The economics. Let's talk money, because the Ford's price tag generates more controversy than a Twitter argument. $13 billion sounds enormous, until you realize it's less than what Americans spend on streaming services in 2 years. For the cost of a few months of social media advertising spending, America bought 50 years of ocean dominance. The Ford doesn't just protect American interests, it protects the $14 trillion in goods that cross the oceans annually. That figure includes everything from oil and grain to electronics and pharmaceuticals, all flowing through international sea lanes safeguarded by American naval power. The Department of Navy's fiscal year 2025 budget request reaches $257.6 billion, representing massive national investment in capabilities that extend far beyond traditional defense into economic security and global trade protection. Naval shipbuilding alone averages about $40 billion annually, as America builds toward a 390-ship battle force fleet. Critics focus obsessively on that $13 billion price tag while missing the broader economic analysis. The Ford will operate for approximately 50 years, making the annual cost roughly $216 million for a platform that protects trillions of dollars in global trade flows. Every container ship crossing the Pacific, every oil tanker in the Persian Gulf, revolutionary thinking over incremental improvement, total systems integration over component optimization, continuous evolution over static design. The Ford embodies these principles in ways that make it more than just another military platform. It's a symbol of American technological leadership applied to the most critical national security challenges. The Ford doesn't just project American power across the world's oceans, it projects American innovation leadership in ways that influence everything from international diplomacy to global economics. In a world where technological superiority increasingly determines strategic outcomes, platforms like the Ford ensure America doesn't just remain competitive. America defines what competition looks like. China can build more ships, Russia can develop new submarines, but neither can replicate the integrated technological sophistication that makes the Ford revolutionary rather than merely impressive. The age of steam-powered naval operations is definitively over. The era of electromagnetic warfare, artificial intelligence integration, and space-based coordination has begun. America isn't just participating in this transformation, America is writing the rules that everyone else will be forced to follow. 3 more Ford-class carriers are under construction. By 2030, America will operate a fleet that makes today's naval competition look like sailing ships versus steamers. The age of naval parity is over. The USS Gerald R. Ford stands tall, showing what becomes possible when innovative thinking meets unlimited engineering ambition, backed by national commitment to technological leadership. It's unstoppable, not because of any single capability, but because it represents a completely different approach to naval warfare that competitors are only beginning to understand, much less match. That's it for today. Smash that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you won't miss what's coming next. Drop a comment below. Do you think the Ford-class carriers are truly unstoppable? Or is there a weakness that rivals could exploit? Let's discuss in the comments.